Hello my friends, we are finally starting to write counter application for Android, and first I would like to tell you what skills I expect my viewers to have. Above all, you need Java programming experience. Basic knowledge will be enough, so as not to be surprised by common language constructs and understand what's going on in code. Then, of course, any Android knowledge will be your advantage. But even you are not familiar with Android development at all, it's totally alright, you just will learn by doing. This method of training is also very effective. I will try to pause on every difficult topic to explain it in more details, or at least give you links or show how to find more information. To avoid future rebukes, I should also mention that we won't write every single line of code together with you, cause it's not possible due to time constraints. This app requires a lot of work to be done. But most important thing for me is that after finishing this course, you will be able to write this kind of apps yourself. In other words, I don't want to give you a fish, but I want to give you a fishing rod and teach how to use it correctly. I think it's more useful. Last, I should mention that I will write this app as if I'm writing it for the first time, cause I've already wrote it and I know what pitfalls we will encounter, but I think it's not a good way to tell you about all these nuances right now. Instead, when we will meet a problem with our code during development, we will understand it, fix it, and get an experience. This process of development is more like real workflow. Because at the beginning no one knows for sure how to organize code to avoid all future problems. Developers can only assume it based on their experience. So let's get started. First we need to install Android Studio. To do this, Google Android Studio, then follow link on the official site, download and install. Please always use official sites to download software if it's possible, especially if official site has a cool design and contains a lot of up-to-date documentation, as of course developer.android.com does. Okay, when finished, let's open Android Studio and create new project. Choose empty activity, because we need an activity anyway, but other templates also generate some code for us that we don't need right now. We'll write it ourselves later if needed. So we are pretty happy with default settings here, but let's just discuss the minimum API level. Minimum API level means, to be short, minimum Android version that our app will support. Our app won't be able to work on API version below minimum API level. So it's an important choice. We can leave it to be 15, it's very good. IDE tells us that we support about 100% devices, because there are very few devices nowadays running on Android lower than 4.0.3. If you have any doubts, check Help Me to Choose and you can get more info about Android distribution statistics. Okay, let's click Finish button and wait a little. While we are waiting, we can customize our environment. Your IDE can look a bit different from mine, but it's okay. Moreover, you can customize it as you want. Just make sure you see project window and you have a main space for code. I also usually remove all tabs from the right to make more free space. We are still waiting for build to finish. And okay, finally the build process is finished, and what we can see here, we have main activity. Basically it's an entry point to our program. The only thing it does right now is setting layout called activity main as a root layout. Let's go to its source by holding Ctrl and clicking left mouse button. Here we can see some layout code in the middle and layout preview on the right. Now it's just a hello world text. If you have never worked with XML or HTML before and have no idea what it is, then I advise you to clarify it a bit. It's very simple, just Google something like XML structure. Nice. Let's open, for example, this link and let's look through this page. XML is just a set or a tree of tags. They can be opened, closed. Please note how to open and close tags. Also, we can see tags can have an attributes. Please spend some time learning XML until you feel comfortable with XML structure. Android layout, resources, and almost all other resources is just an XML file. And we can see XML file extension, which reminds us about that. Well, if I will go ahead and code something, I suggest to run this app to see the whole system works. To do this, you can use a Run button, which you probably have in toolbar. Green triangle button like, play media. I usually hide it to make more room for code, so you don't see it right now on my screen. Of course, you can use menu item as well. But my favorite way of running app is using keyboard shortcuts. To run application, you can press Shift F10 and Android Studio will try to launch your app. If we do this now, we see that app can't be launched until we have a connected device or emulator. So we need to connect your Android phone or tablet or launch an emulator. As for real devices, you need to connect your device using USB. By the way, it's possible to debug your application over Wi-Fi, but it's more advanced topic. I recommend you to start with USB connection, cause even USB connecting can bring you a lot of troubles. I can't provide you an exhaustive instructions how to connect your phone, cause there are so many different phones. Operating systems sometimes require drivers, sometimes not, and so on. So unfortunately, it's absolutely normal to spend some hours Googling how to connect your device to ADB, stands for Android Debug Bridge. But there are some tips which can help you. First, on your phone, set connection mode to any other than charging. Experimenting with connection modes often helps. Also, you can try to install Google USB drivers, just Google it and follow links on official site. It's also very important the developer mode to be enabled on your device. It's usually disabled by default and the process of enabling it can be different from device to device. You can also Google it, but first you should try a general way of doing this. Go to System Settings, find info about phone, Android version and assembly version. Click on assembly number many times and after several clicks you can get a message with congratulations for becoming a developer. If not, you have to try other ways. Next, if you have developer options in settings, go there and enable debugging over USB. Also, it's sometimes helpful to allow installing applications from unknown sources. You can find these settings somewhere in application settings. This process can be tedious, so please be strong, and after a while you'll definitely get it done. A few words about emulators. If you have an Intel CPU and it supports hardware virtualization technology, or you are on Linux and your CPU supports technology whose name I unfortunately forgot, sorry, then your virtual device will work really fast and smooth. But if not, it will bring you some troubles and slow you down. Honestly, I have an Intel CPU, however, I always develop apps using my physical device, cause virtual device is not a real device, it's very obvious. But if you like or have to use emulator, just create new AVD, stands for Android Virtual Device, and you can choose it as a target for your app. Your AVD needs to be running, but if you choose it here from Run Dialog, it will automatically be launched. Or you can run or manage your virtual devices at any time via Tools AVD Manager. For example, I want to start my Pixel with API 26. Nice, and I've been asked for allowing debug. But I've missed that dialog. Maybe we'll encounter some troubles. Yes, we have now our emulator, but offline, because we have missed connection dialog. So as you can see, it can be difficult to run app for the first time. This is the rain dancing I mentioned earlier. But let's try to fix it. First, check connection mode. Charge this device. No, it's not good. Let's change it, for example, to transfer files. And yes, we have a dialog again. Perfect. You probably have to go through similar process while setting up your device, so don't miss this important dialog. And finally, we can choose our device and click OK. And we need to wait a little, especially at the first time. Don't rush to be disappointed. First Android Studio launching, first run of the emulator, first application build. It's okay to take some time. Then further, then faster. But of course, it also depends on your hardware. But for now, let's just wait for our app to launch. And yay, we now have our app running. If you have noticed, we have a hello world text. This is a good news. We were expecting this. But the title above text field is strange. At least we haven't written that, so we don't want by now where it comes from. But let's leave it as is for a bit and make some changes in layout to realize that we can really affect the appearance of main activity. Let's change text to hello counter and restart application. I will also select the checkbox at the bottom to always use my emulator as target. And we can see hello counter text. Very good. Project setup is completed. Our first layout changes are working. And on that happy note, let's finish our lesson. See you in the next videos. Please tell me if you are interested in watching this series in English. Then I will continue translating. Also, feel free to correct my language mistakes. I will appreciate this because I want to improve my English and make more videos for you about developing Android apps and programming in general. See you soon!